Well, good morning and welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the B-roll, I'm in a hotel, or at least from the B-roll you can see I'm in somewhere different. This is Stockholm. I'm in a hotel at the top of the hill in an area that I can't even pronounce the name of. And welcome back to the channel again, and I've got a face like a demented baboon. I've had a lot of sleep. This is now the third day of my trip here. I arrived on Friday midday. We went out and had a brief shoot at a swamp forest in the centre of Stockholm, which sounds odd, a swamp forest in the middle of Stockholm, but yes it is. And we went out yesterday and we went down to the coast hoping for some wave action, but there was nothing there. We're going to head up to the north coast, although I'm not sure if it's actually the northeast coast, with Hans a bit later today and see what the weather's doing. The wind's died down quite a lot, but we've had Hurricane Babata, I think it is, which came through the UK on Friday and Saturday. It's arrived here on Saturday and pretty much has been very windy yesterday, so we couldn't really do much vlogging. But today it looks a lot stiller outside. From the tree out across the road I can see. So I'm travelling light. I've got both the OM1 and the X2D with me, and both sets of lenses for both. I did quite a lot of photography with the OM1 yesterday, and I'll put some pictures up in the intervening sections of the video as supporting B-roll. I also took quite a few pictures with the X2D, and today I'm travelling just with the X2D because I'm finding having two camera systems with me a little bit of a challenge, because I didn't bring my big backpack to have both in at the same time. So my backpack I've got, which I'll show you now, strictly speaking isn't a backpack, it's this little Wanderer case which is fully waterproof. I've got the X2D and filters and three lenses in there, spare batteries in the front, but that's quite a small package to carry around with me. So I'm using that, and I'm decided today to sort of offload a bit, so I'm leaving the OM1 behind for this particular whole day, and I'll concentrate on using the X2D. And tomorrow, which I fly back on about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll take out the OM1 explicitly and leave the X2D here. And we're going today to a oak grove about 80 kilometres north of Stockholm. Hans assures me that it's actually very, very scenic, and the colours here in Sweden are spectacular to say the least. And I didn't realise they had aspen trees here, which they do, so I concentrated a bit yesterday on getting some nice shots of the aspen trees. But today is an oak grove and possibly the coast as well, so let's see how that goes, and I'll introduce you to Hans when we get on location, and perhaps he can talk you through the area as he knows it far better than I do, and explain in his eyes the sort of things that he's looking for, and we'll see what today brings. Join me a bit later. Well, I'm outside the hotel waiting for Hans, and the taxi service around here is flipping dreadful if you ask me. I can't seem to find any taxis anywhere. Anyway, I shall wait and wait and see what happens. And there we are, there we have it, the taxi has arrived. Helps if I don't knock myself out on the boot lid. Let's put that in there. The rest of it can go in the front. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
Here we are. Right.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Handy.
It's very tiny.
Is it also image stabilized? Like a,
Yep, completely.
Wow. Like a gimbal?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Holy
Hans
cow.
Strand.
Yeah, hello
Morning,
there.
Hans.
Yeah, early in the morning for me.
10 o'clock. It's
Yeah,
late.
that's maybe
Euclid.
very late or early. For me, I tend to sleep I like that. I rarely photograph sunrises.
Oh, so where are we going today?
We're going roughly 120 kilometers north of Stockholm to a very nice oak grove called Norra Malma.
I wouldn't even try to pronounce that. Norra Malma.
Norra Malma.
Norra Malma. That's not even close, is it?
Norr, which means north.
Norr.
Malma, I don't know.
Malma.
I don't know what it means. I think probably a plane or something.
Norra Malma.
Oak Grove.
Oak Grove. We'll call it Oak Grove then,
Oak Grove,
going forwards.
Yeah. And there are maples there as well. So
Okay. So there's a wide variety of colour, hopefully.
hopefully a lot of awesome colours.
And now we have a slightly unscheduled detour.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hans is...
I'm taking you, since you're a visitor to my home country, I want to take you to this fantastic roundabout.
yes, this is a very nice roundabout with a house in the middle.
House, and I know the guy living in that house. He's a kind of eccentric guy, but he's happy.
Yes, this isn't the first time this has happened, I might add.
It won't be the last either.
Okay, fair enough. Hans has got a photographic memory,
I got
but
got
not
the
for
photography.
maps.
I got a photography and a memory, but not photographic. Let's see, I need to stop somewhere and check on the map.
We're going to have to a scheduled
Here's
stop.
another one with a lighthouse.
This roundabout has a lighthouse on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're seeing that.
This could be it.
Oh, there's the roundabout with the lighthouse. Okay, we've done about... That's
bit.
10 laps of the same roundabout before we made a decision. So hopefully we're heading in the right direction. We
Yeah,
haven't
let's
hit
hope.
the seaside yet. We
No
haven't
guarantee.
found any oak trees yet. But hey ho,
I think we are
Hans is
on the right.
pretty sure we're on the right road now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So
Not
the next
so.
time you see me will be the next time we have an unscheduled detour, or we actually arrive where the oak trees are.
Yeah,
See
or
you in a
another
minute.
roundabout with some interesting construction in the center of it.
We're doing a tour at the moment of roundabouts with interesting centres.
Yeah.
Okay, that about sums it up. And we have the modern technology called Google Maps being brought into play.
Yeah.
And this is where I'd struggle because I don't know how to pronounce any of the names of any of the things on the signs here.
This is the right road to start.
Oh.
The one we thought was wrong.
So we're not far off.
No, we just made a little roundabout due to the detour.
A detour to roundabouts.
Yeah, so I was right from the beginning, but I have no self-confidence, because I'm such a bad driver.
This apparently is the right road. We're now on it. And now we've got a little tractor parked at the side of the road there. Another little ornament. Oh, that's quite a sweet little old tractor. Yeah. Well, this is what we find. And here we have Norra Malma. Oops.
We're not
Bumpy
supposed to-
road.
Not.
No traffic.
Yeah, bullshit.
Is this a private road?
Yeah, so it has become, obviously. But who cares?
Here we are. Here we have a grove of very fine oak trees. Oh, blimey. Yeah, this is quite nice, isn't it?
It's really nice.
I don't know if you can see that. Oh, this is really pleasant. And as Hans has just pointed out, this is now a private road, so
we might end
up in prison.
Yeah. So this might be the last hour
Vlog.
as a free man.
okay, I'm with him, if anyone
Yeah.
asks.
Yeah, I'm me.
That's strangely me.
Yeah.
I'm me.
Yeah.
We're both me. We've got
Yeah.
something in common, strangely.
I'm Hans Strand. I'm a Swedish landscape photographer, almost 68 years old, and the future is behind me. But here I'm with Trim, with Clive, goddammit, with Clive, and we're about to photograph a grove of old oaks. It's a lovely place where as you can see, they're falling apart, making the place even more interesting. So we're looking for decay and autumn colors and complexity in the landscape. I used to call these kind of places, this kind of photography, intimate landscape photography. So we're going not for the grand views, but for complexity and colors and interesting stuff around our feet.
So I suspect Hans is actually going to photograph me on the subject of decay.
Yeah, and he can photograph me, you know.
The trees are just here as a backdrop to that whole event. Well, this place is really quite spectacular. Many thanks to Hans. He's disappeared over there. He's getting his own idea of compositions. I've stumbled on, it's difficult not to find compositions here. It's amazing. There's a series of bits of rock sticking out of the ground, which is really good for making leading lines. And there's fallen trees, dead standing trees, live standing trees. Really, really special. Really nice place. Really pleased to be here. I'll spin you round and I'll show you what I'm composing here. We've got this fallen tree root, or the remains of it here, and then we've got a tree coming up that's also dead behind it there. And what I'm doing is I'm framing this shot up with the roots in the foreground and the dead tree that's still standing in the background. And I'll set ISO 100 will be fine for this. F13, set -0.7 because there is a tendency on this XCD to slightly overexpose the highlights. So I'm focusing on the center of that set of roots there. F13 should have good depth of field. I want to have a timer. Let's put the 2-second timer on. So let's take that shot, and I'll focus stack it by taking a shot where the leaves on the trees in the background are in focus, which will be here. There, that's the second shot. And I'm very tempted to take a portrait orientation shot as well. That's that one. I'll focus stack that when we get back home. Well, I must admit, there's an awful lot here. I'm sure there are places like this in the UK. I know several places with oak trees like this, but this is really quite a spectacular place because in England, when a tree falls, it's quite normal for it to be logged up and taken away. Here it appears they just leave them on the ground laying, which makes for an awful lot of very interesting compositions. Here's another one. This is a fine old tree that's fallen some time ago, I think, but in reality, the moss that's growing on it plus the upturned roots make quite a spectacular shot. So what I've got framed up on the back of the camera here, if you can see, is there's the remains of the root bowl, and then behind it we've got the upper part of the tree laying on the ground. Loads and loads of moss on the branches, and then we've got some more existing trees that are coming up on the right hand side. So I'm balancing the darkness and the weight of this tree root here with the more modern, or more at least still alive trees on the right hand side. I think it's quite an interesting composition. So pretty much the same setup as before. I'm going to focus on the actual root bowl, take a shot, 3-second timer, sorry Thomas, and then I'm going to focus on those branches in the background that have got that nice moss on them. And there we go, second shot, 3-second timer, I nearly said 2. I'll focus stack those, and I think let's have a pixel peep just to make sure everything is nicely in focus. And the detail, absolutely incredible. I do love this X2D. I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep it, but that, in terms of colour, I don't know if you can see that, the vividness or the vivacity, the vibrance of the green moss there. Let me just walk you over to the green moss and you'll have a look and see if the two, compare that with what I'll show you in a few seconds. So I've walked over to where those branches are laying on the ground, and I don't know if it's coming across in the video, and you'll be able to compare it if you stop the video and cycle back to the shots and the shot I'll put up in a minute. And I think the colour science that Hasselblad have got, as I say, I think the colour science that Hasselblad have built into this exceeds that of the Fujifilm GFX 100 I had a year or so back. And Hans agrees with me because he also has had access to Fujifilm GFX, and he concurs. He believes the colour science that Hasselblad have built into their cameras is top notch. He says it doesn't get any better, and I'm tending to agree with him. I'm finding I don't really do much in the way of enhancing the images. I might put a small vignette on it just to sort of pull the eye in, but in terms of any other editing, I'm probably not doing as much as I did with the Sony and also with my OMD. But hey ho, let's move on and see what else there is to take pictures of here. I'm just looking at the back of the camera, the amount of detail that this camera is capturing. I've got the I think that's the 90mm XCD lens on there, which is giving me about a 70mm equivalent in full frame terms, and I like these images. They're coming out beautifully. Anyway, I'm going to go over and see what Hans is doing. I'll see what he's up to and see what compositions he's coming up with, because they'll exceed mine. He has an incredible eye for details that I miss, quite frankly, unless they're pointed out to me. But I'm happy with the images I'm getting, and let's see if he's happy with his. Well, Hans has just beckoned me over to the other side of this park, and let's go and see what he's found. But this is amazing. Let me just spin you around and show you. Isn't this just something special? Wow. Wow. I think the moss-covered boulders are really just adding to this, and the fact the trees are not too crowded together, there's opportunity to make some really interesting compositions. So let's see what he's found. Okay, I found the man himself, perched on that promontory. Oh, look at this, look at this. This is a little bit nice. It's all right, it's not too shabby, as I say. Ooh, nice. Oh, there's a lake in the distance as well. I don't know if it's possible to see it just over there. The land of lakes we're in, so yeah. I'm going to set up here and see what else I can get. We have here a very fine Gitzo tripod, which Hans loaned me, so I didn't have to bring mine on the carry-on, because it's too big. And he's given me this amazing tripod, and it's actually... Sounds like a crane. I don't know if you can pick that up on the microphone. It creaks, and sometimes I think it's me creaking, and other times I think it's the tripod.
You get surrounded by migrating
tripods.
Migrating birds, you know, they think they're...
Oh, the cranes will all fly in. Hans is concerned that we're going to get mobbed by migrating herons or crane birds, because that's the mating call of the crane. And as various other YouTubers with more followers than I have say, it doesn't get better than this, and then say it doesn't get better than this on the next video where they're somewhere else. Let me get the camera set up. Hans is quite keen to use my 90mm lens. He's got a 35-75 on his X2D, and I think he wanted the extra reach the 90 gives to pull in the detail in these branches with lichen. And it'll need focus stacking, because we're talking about the nearest tree being maybe 25 meters away and the furthest one being about 45-50 meters. So I just want to make sure everything's tack sharp. So let me get set up, and then I'll put the picture up in a moment. So Hans has actually found a composition that he's really very keen on.
Yeah, hi there. Well, I found a tree. I don't know what kind of tree it is, but it has some beautiful red berries hanging on the branches, in combination with some yellow color, and we have turquoise lichens growing on the branches. So there's a lot of color contrast here. And if you come here and we can look at the picture, I will zoom in. You see the berries, and here I did a focus stacking using about 6 different focus settings to cover everything, make everything in good depth of field.
So what sort of settings have you got on the camera?
I have f13, I have ISO 64 and half a second. And everything is standing still. There's no wind, so it's not a problem using
so
long.
About 60 mil or nice at 75?
I'm a 75 mil.
So
here.
that's the maximum on that lens.
Yeah. But as I told you, I would prefer to shoot it with longer, like your 90. I think there would be better options for this.
So, as my camera's got the 90 on and Hans has got the 75 on, I'm going to let him set this shot up on my camera.
Yeah, okay.
Be careful with it.
It will cost.
It's a quality camera, Hans.
It will cost you
you're
extra.
Not used to this.
Mm.
So something's taken my eye here. Hans is just behind me taking photographs of a tree with berries on, another tree with berries on, which is that one. But what caught my eye is this tree here, which is coming up at a funny angle, just there. This fallen tree, which is bridging the gap between this small apple tree, I think it's apple, they're very tiny apples on it, but this tree here, and then in the background there's a leaning oak, and I think that is going to make a nice pano composition. So I'm starting with this tree here and then taking 3 shots, one with that tree and the fallen tree, then the fallen tree and the one at 30 degrees, and then the 30-degree tree, and then this tree here, this apple, which I believe is apple, it probably isn't. Well, I can see my SD card has only got 1 minute 57 seconds of recording time left on it, so that's going to be pretty much it from here today. I'll have to download this later tonight. There's Hans happily taking pictures of that tree here, which is this, I'm not sure what it is, little red berries on it, I'm not sure at all. I'll be able to look it up later. Hans, how did you feel that went?
I think it was lovely. It's something I've never shot before, and I focus stacked maybe using 6 different focus settings to cover the whole range, and I think the way the contrast is popping out with the red berries contrasting against kind of turquoise lichens, kind of bluish trunk, and green. It's a lot of nice subtle colors in there, I think. I think I'm really curious to see what this will come out like, but I think it's going to be pretty good.
Well, if Hans is good enough, when he's got that picture, I'll put it up in the video so that you can see what is made of this. That's all right, is it, Hans? Yeah?
You're welcome, more than welcome.
Excellent. Well, having thought I'd run out of space on the SD card and not having a spare one, I realised there was a lot of old recordings on it. So I decided to delete the old recordings and make space. So I've now got another 30 odd minutes worth of record time. The battery's getting a bit low, so that'll be the next factor. But what I've done is I've walked down the hill from where we were photographing those oak trees, and there is this beautiful lake with these reeds at the side of it. Now I realise I don't have a lot of battery, but I'm going to set up the camera and take some photographs of reeds, and there's some really nice moody sky as well, which I think will set the reflection off in the water really quite nicely. Hans is over there down the edge of the lake there, busily photographing reeds as if they're going out of fashion, and I'm going to take a few shots as well. Yeah, I think this is really a nice place. There's tiny bit of breeze, as you can see on the water, which is making some nice ripples reflecting the blue of the sky. So let's get some pictures and I'll put them up if they worked. See you in a minute. Well, I'm going to have to be really quick here because the battery's only showing 15% battery life left. But I've got a really nice, or at least I think it's a really nice image setup here. I've got the 90mm lens on the X2D here, and I've got it on the tripod. I've got minus 0.3 dialed in because I want to subdue the highlights a little bit. You'll see why in a minute. F13 to get a reasonably good depth of field, and I put ISO up to 400 to get 1/60th of a second to freeze the motion in the reeds, which I will spin you around and show you. So we've got this beautiful sort of set of reeds here tapering away to nothing in the foreground with a larger bank of reeds to the right. And what I've got framed up with the 90mm on the back of the camera is this, where you can see I've got a triangular shape of the reeds coming in. The bank on the other side I've clipped out, and we've got reflections of the reeds coming down here. We've got ripples coming in across the screen here from the top right down to the bottom left, and I'm hoping that with the overcast nature of the sky here, what I should get is quite a nice reflective shot. So when it manages to focus, the X2D isn't the fastest focusing camera on the planet, but it's managed to find that. I've got -0.7 dialed in, so I'll take that shot and then we'll have a bit of a look. That, I think, with a bit of post-processing, is going to really be quite a nice shot. Let me zoom in and just check it's absolutely tack sharp, and it is absolutely razor sharp. Have a look across the image. Yep, there's absolutely no motion blur at all. There's a little bit of breeze moving the heads of the reeds around, but I seem to have managed to freeze all of that, although a bit of motion blur might actually work well with this picture. But I rather like the sort of milky, sort of smooth undulations in the water in the background reflecting the sky. It's really subtle colouring, the slightly yellowy brown of the reeds and the bluey greys, steely colours of the sky reflections. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. That is pretty much one of the images. As I say, that's one of the images that I really like taking, sort of an intimate, just a small section of something, and isolate what it is I'm fascinated. And that's worked really well. I'm pleased with that. So on the basis the battery is not going to give me much more life, I'm pretty sure, I'm going to wind it up there, and I'll put the pictures up in the video next. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and click the notification icon and the bell, and you'll be able to be notified when I upload new videos.